Howdy, folks, and welcome. I'm the Creepy Kentuckian.
Hi, I'm the captain.
And we got the captain back on here. We're going to take a look at a new release from our good buddies over at Synapse Films. And Don May Jr. personally wanted us to take a look at the Demons collection, Demons 1 and 2, on 4K, boys. 4K. They've released it on Blu-ray a few times. Did they have they had single releases on Blu-ray too, didn't they, on the Steelbook? Didn't they do that for Demons, Synapse?
Yes. I got the first one on the Steelbook from Synapse.
So these would easily be the most commercial movies that Lamberto Bava ever did. They're zombie movies, kind of, but they're demons to the zombies. It's the same principle, really. So it's a showcase, and we'll talk about it. But, yeah, this is, I want to go ahead and say right out the beginning of the review, I think if you don't own any of these releases, you don't have Demons, this is a must-buy. This gets the highest recommendation.
With the thrust.
Steve has the Arrow counterpart there, which Synapse Films and Arrow kind of went in on these releases. Arrow released in the UK, what was it, about 6 months ago? And this one just came out here in the US. So I don't know what the deal is with putting the movies together. I guess that they just come as, that's however they licensed them. But yeah, both editions have, you know, it's two different 4Ks and loaded with special features. So we're going to go through the movies because I know, Steve, this is some of your favorite horror movies of all time, at least the first one.
Yeah, I like them both, really. I think the first one is the more, I guess you would say, classic of the two. But the second one is just as much crazy fun stuff.
So, Demons from 1985. It starts off in is it in Rome, Italy? I mean, it's Italian horror.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think the second one, for some reason, isn't in Italy, but the first one definitely is.
Yeah, we'll talk about the movies kind of quick, because most people have seen Demons, maybe not, but we'll just give you a brief rundown of what you're going to expect. So, you got this weird Terminator-looking guy in the beginning that's handing out these movie tickets, which I've got a prop in here, Steve. I'll show you. You've probably got one too, right? Handing these bad boys out. The Metropole, today at 6 p.m.
We missed
Italian Standard Time.
Yep.
And nobody knows what the movie is. I think there are two ladies that are friends that meet up, and they're like, "Oh, let's go to the movie. Well, let's see what." One of
them's Flora Argento.
Ooh, is that Dario's other daughter?
Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's his other daughter. He had 3 daughters, but one died.
Flora is still around.
Yeah, she's like some fashion designer of bad clothes over in Italy.
Flora Argento.
Bellissimo.
So you get a group of people together in this movie theater, including the pimp daddy himself, Bobby Rhodes, is there. And he's probably the most memorable character in the movie. And I don't know if they realized that while they were making the movie. But they definitely realized it by the second movie because he's in it. He's in that one too, but just as a different character. Anyway. So the beginning of the movie, there's like this standee, like a prop or something almost, that has this devil mask on it. And what's the lady's name? They named her twice. She was a killer. Jaretta.
Yeah.
And I've got her on Facebook actually.
Yeah, she's
tries the mask on, and the mask cuts her, and that's very important, Steve. Very important. It gets a little cut on her face, and before you know it, it gets all puffed up, and it's like something you'd see on Pimple Popper and just fucking explodes everywhere.
A lipoma.
And she becomes the first demon in the movie. Now, also, there's this low-budget movie going on while the film is, while Demons itself is going on. It's almost like meta. It's kind of meta horror almost, Steve. Early meta horror. So the demons from the movie are coming to life in the movie theater, and they're locked in the movie theater, and chaos ensues from there, right? So it's almost like the effects guy was what was his name? Sergio Stavletti,
director
did the makeup
of
effects.
The Wax Mask, the later movie.
And, you know, to be honest with you, this movie is a showcase for makeup effects and just gore gags and stuff like that. I mean, that's what most of it is. The acting is not great. You know, it serves its purpose. It's well made. The movie looks professionally done. Another aspect of it that everybody always talks about, and I appreciate too, is the music.
Yeah.
It's a lot of 80s heavy metal music.
With some Go West in it.
Iron Maiden,
Saxon,
Billy Idol.
Yeah,
Billy Idol and Saxon. I don't know how they used White Wedding would have been a big hit by that point, right? So that would have, you would think it's 85. And then when they play Everybody's Up from Saxon there towards the end, that's a mark out moment for me, folks. I just want to say, because not everybody appreciates the awesomeness that is Saxon. Innocence is No Excuse came out the same year, and I referenced that album title more than any other album in the history of the show. So I'm a big Saxon fan. Also a big fan of this movie. This movie's fun. You know, you can't go wrong with it. When did you first get introduced to this? I remember the VHS cover back in the day, which the wallpaper that we have up around this video, that artwork was featured on it.
Well, just before that, I got the poster of this, Demons 1 and 2, but I got Demon 1 signed by Roberto Bava, so I was happy with that. I guess I watched it on VHS, I mean, and really, really enjoyed this one, and then next thing you know, there's another one, and, you know, it's just one of those things where you rent it over and over again, and then when everything started happening, I probably had a dub of the VHS at some point, but you get the DVD and then start getting the Blu-rays and work your way up to the 4K.
One thing I'm noticing they're putting on these too is they're putting the Italian versions of the movie, which in Italy they didn't record I didn't think they did. They didn't record the audio while it was live, but they went back, and I'm guessing they just have an Italian dub of it. Now, Demons 1, though, was there ever an R-rated cut of this, or was it always the same cut? Can you recall? Because I can only really remember the DVD and the other Blu-rays that they come out with, and they were all the same cut.
I don't remember any specific thing that said unrated or something like that, so it's pretty much been the same cut, I would believe.
And I really like the end of Demons 1, and they could have almost went with the sequel that way, where it was turning into a kind of a post-apocalyptic type deal with that crew of people. They introduced some new characters right at the end.
You got Bob from House by the Cemetery. Yeah,
a little bit older Bob, and his dad is what he said, but he looked like he was probably 70 years old, that man in the vehicle. I don't know. He's a horny old bastard probably to have a kid that late in life. But they didn't go that route with the sequel. The sequel came out a year later, 1986. Lamberto Bava directed, and Dario Argento produced both of these movies as well, we need to say.
Yeah, there's some good stuff about this on World of Horror, that Dario Argento documentary that Synapse put out, by the way, on DVD.
On DVD and Laserdisc.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Asia Argento, it's her very first movie, too. She would have been, 14 years old, 13 or 14 years old in this movie. Maybe even younger than that. I don't know.
I think she was younger because, I think she was I think she was born, she's probably 10 or 11.
Probably 75. 75 sounds right.
Yeah, 75, 76, something like that.
Yeah. But
11,
is this where
maybe.
you first got your fascination with Asia Argento, Steve?
No. B Monkey was the one that got me hooked.
This one is essentially the exact same movie, except it takes place in an apartment complex, and the demons come out of the TV. In this one, it's where there's a demon from that movie that they play some weird.
Well, the movie's kind of a demons movie, and at one point, the demon just crawls out of the television. And then bites the Coralita, which I've met her as well. And,
yeah, she was also in Opera, which I think is one of probably Argento's most underrated movies, I would say.
Yeah.
Nobody really talks about that for whatever reason. I have no idea. But Bobby Rhodes is also, like we mentioned before, he's not the pimp daddy in this one. He's like a gym
workout
instructor.
Guy. Yeah.
Workout guy.
Everybody's using these shiny machines, and you notice some of them don't even look like it does a damn thing. It's very 80s workout equipment.
Yep. But again, this movie is just a showcase of special makeup effects. I mean, that's what I see as both of these movies. I mean, they're entertaining enough. I enjoy them. But yeah, if you're into the gore and makeup effects of this era, which a lot of people think that the mid to late 80s was the peak for prosthetic makeup effects. And then they just started going more towards computerized shit and post-production shit.
And obviously these guys are doing it on a cheaper budget than, Reanimate, or, well, I wouldn't say Reanimator, but, From Beyond and The Thing and all that. But I mean, to me, it looked the stranger some of those gore effects look. And I don't know. I find it more entertaining.
Well, these movies too. Like, I didn't really look up Sergio Stavoletti's back catalog, but I'm almost positive that he did Cemetery Man. Right? He did the makeup effects for that.
Yeah, I would say that's a given.
His style of makeup effects is more American, like Tom Savini, Day of the Dead style, wouldn't you say? Like that, more realistic looking, a lot of it is, compared to, some of the Argento and Fulci stuff. The blood is like a red paint, and it's clear like they're, it just looks nowhere near as good as.
Well, both of these movies have I think have the same effect, but it may just be the one where the Greta, the hooker, and she's turning into the demon, and then you see the teeth her regular teeth getting pressed out for all these snaggletooth fangs.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously that's not a real head, but I mean, the effect of that is really, really cool.
One other thing that I thought was weird, and I've always thought this, going back to the first Demons movie, Nina, I think the character's name was Nina. She was another prostitute, right? The blonde that had the 80s crazy hair. So she's kind of got a nude scene, right? But that girl, I swear to God, she looks like she's like 13 years old or 14 years old. Didn't you ever think that? I'm like, what the fuck? That girl's not very old.
You talking about in the first one?
The first one, the blonde that they do the cocaine.
Oh,
I think that was the first one. Yeah, that was the first one.
I'm actually friends with her on Facebook.
I wonder how old she was when she did that. I'm just out of curiosity because she did not look.
Yeah, I would hope that she would be at least 18. But there's some weird shit.
You never know over there. In Italy.
You never know.
But this edition recently came out from Synapse Films. Arrow Video is the edition that Steve has. They came out. I think it came out back in April. And at first, when I heard about these releases, or at least the Arrow one, I was like, what the hell? Like, I mean, that's just weird. Like, who would think that Demons, would need a 4K release. And when I was watching this, I sent Don May Jr. a message, and I was like, what in the how? These movies, both of them, even though Demons 2 doesn't have nearly the budget of the first movie, they look freaking killer. Like, they look amazing, right? So he was telling me about the HDR and the Dolby Vision. On older films, it usually doesn't work as good. He said this is one of the exceptions. It just made it pop.
Mm-hmm.
So if nobody has these movies, you should get, because they're at good prices anyway. I mean, what are they now, Steve? Around $40 for both of them in 4K?
Yeah, 40, 44, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely, if you ain't got an edition of them, that would be the way to go.
And it's loaded with special features, commentaries. There's podcasts. They got Kat Ellinger on there. It's one of your favorites, Steve. Talking with her. Just absolutely packed full of special features. I think the Synapse version has some stuff that the Arrow doesn't. I want to put a screenshot up here of all the features because I can't. I mean, it's just both movies have tons of extras.
Just to let you know that this version does have Dolby Vision and HDR compatibility. So
yeah, I mean I think they both went in together on the remaster with Don May overseeing it, if I'm not mistaken. So
but I think
it's
there's
the same
some
transfer.
There's some differences on the audio. I think that perhaps that has better audio.
Uncompressed DTS HD master audio and 5.1 English and Italian. It's derived from the original archival audio masters. Kat Ellinger again does the commentary with Heather Drain. I don't know who that is. Hell's Bells podcast. Evidently they have a podcast. Have you ever listened to that, Steve?
No, I've listened to some other stuff that she's on. That's actually on the Arrow one as well, so that shares the same feature.
Just tons of stuff. I mean, new interview with Argento, talking about the music in the movie. Claudio Simonetti does the score part of the first Demons movie. And they have interviews with Sergio Stavoletti. It's loaded. Like I said, I want to put a screenshot of all the extras on it. But I gotta say, this is another must purchase. I like your shirt there, Steve, by the way.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's available now. You can go to Amazon, Blu-ray.com, deep discount, DVD4life.com, wherever you get Blu-ray disc. Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
don't.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that now.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell. Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.